I'm just going to start this video by saying that I am not endorsed or sponsored by Tamron in any way. They basically make products that fit my exact need as a photographer slash video maker. This one fits a huge niche for Nikon specifically. They've never had a super wide stabilized prime for an aps-c sensor. Now they do, so now I can bring my Nikon D500 or my D5500 to vlog, things like that. Casey Neistat, those guys use usually the Canon 10-24 that has IS on it to shoot their vlogs, things like that. So now finally, after a very long time, Nikon has it. Lindsay and I are leaving to Switzerland in about 12 hours now, so this is going to be a very, very quick review. If I didn't get it done in time, here is some footage of us snowboarding, and here is hopefully some footage of us photographing the Matterhorn with some stars, provided we got good weather. First up, going to show you some footage, then we're going to talk about some photos towards the end of this video. The first impressions are fantastic. There's very little vignetting, or less than I would expect there to be. The corners are sharper than I expected to be. Obviously, with such a wide angle zoom, you are expecting a little bit of weird distortions, things like that. But it really controls everything really well. Pointing it directly at lights, the flare is really good. If you stop it down to f14, you get that really nice sunburst. And I'm actually just really happy that this lens exists, finally, for a Nikon shooter. I believe that I was probably the first, maybe the only, on the list for this lens in Canada. But I'm happy that it's mine, and it's going to make my travel kit a lot smaller. At a later time, I am going to test this against my actual 16-35 on a full-frame body, just to see how much quality I would actually lose if I was to go for an aps-c to go shoot landscapes and wide angles and things like that. Shooting at 10, which is 16, definitely has its issues, but when you zoom in a little bit, it seems to get rid of most of those issues. So here's the footage from today, shooting in Toronto, Canada area in March. Kind of looks like garbage, but we did the best that we could. Also, if you're wondering how I'm lighting this, I'm using a Kim Kardashian Lumi iPhone case on top of my microphone. I had to take everything out of my office. It's not my fault. All my lights and everything are all gone. We're getting new carpets tomorrow. How exciting. Here's the footage. So that was the video footage. The actual photography, something that's really interesting that I really enjoy doing is putting DX and aps-c lenses onto a full frame body. So as you can see at 10 millimeters, very heavy, we'll call it a mechanical or physical vignette. And at 14 millimeters, you now have a 14 millimeter lens. Is it the best 14 millimeter lens in the world? Nope. But it fills a full frame, which is kind of interesting. Once you get to 18 on the full frame body, the corners start to clear up a little bit, and honestly, it's usable at this point. And 24 is fine as well. It seems to have a heavier vignette at 24 than it does at 18. But all right, moving into, this is once it was on my crop sensor camera, which is a Nikon D500. This is a totally unedited file, no tweaks at all, just basic Lightroom defaults for Nikon, and really, really good. Zooming into the end of the hall, everything is straight. There's no crazy colors or anything happening in these lights that shouldn't be. If I pull back the highlights a little bit, you can kind of see that. There is a little bit of purple in some spaces that maybe shouldn't be, but that is easily fixable in Lightroom. And as far as actual distortion goes, it obviously is making anything in the foreground a little bit longer and wider than it should be, but it keeps things pretty well together here. And around here, everything looks good, surprisingly sharp right to the edge almost here. Bottom corners, not entirely sharp, but it is to be expected. You are shooting at 10 millimeters. Same shot zoomed into 24 up here, and looks just as good. A little bit of purple. Purple kind of clears up whenever you bring the highlights down. That's good. Everything else here, I'm just going to add a little bit of exposure so we can see kind of the corners a little bit better. And those look really good. So shot wide open at 24. I think it looks really good. There is very minimal vignetting as well, which is kind of impressive for a lens like this. A little bit more vignetting here, but still not a problem. At some point in the near future, Lightroom will have a preset that just gets rid of kind of all the problems that this lens is known to create, but I wouldn't be upset to have this much. This is a very easy fix, and especially for how small the lens is and how inexpensive it is, it's definitely something worth considering, I think. And zooming in, everything is very, very sharp. I didn't have to adjust this as far as any micro adjustments for focus. This is just straight out of the box put onto my camera. These get a little, they're kind of like almost doubling up here, which isn't really the best, and along here as well. My Kim Kardashian Lumi has just turned off. Looking at this image, I'm going to exposure it up a little bit here. It looks fine to me for such a super wide angle frame. This wouldn't be something that I would typically shoot. This is more just for test purposes. I would typically shoot more around maybe the 14 to 16 range, and in that range everything seemed a little bit better. These look really good. Moving into the distortion at 24, not too much of a problem. You can see it kind of bows out a little bit here. At 10, looks a little bit crazy, but again, to be expected. You're probably not shooting straight into brick walls. And again, Lightroom at some point will have a correction for that. I know it's best to get it right in camera, but again, consider the cost, consider the size of this lens. A few more here, just kind of checking for sharpness and detail. Everything looks incredibly good. This is definitely one of the best wide-angle lenses I've ever had, especially a super wide. To get this kind of detail this close to the edge of the frame looks really good. The vignette's a little bit heavier at 10 here, as you can see in the bottom corners, and as well as kind of the distortion that things start to look really wonky. All right, last one here. As you can see, a little bit more vignetting down in this corner here. This is not really the sharpest, but there's probably a chance that you're not putting any important detail in that bottom corner, or that you are able to crop a little bit. The high contrast points here starting to fringe out a little bit, and as you can see with these trees, they do have kind of that red outline, which isn't the most ideal, but they have kind of this green outline too, which is very interesting. I did notice that back here as well, so it looks fine from a zoom out, but yeah, a little the contrast points not as good as they could be, so don't stress too much about it. It's a great lens for the cost, and the optical quality is far superior to quite a lot of things. The vibration control is fantastic. walking around doing video. I would never just walk around and take video like that, but just kind of showing the VC and the quality of the lens, it is really, really good. So this is a highly recommended lens. How does it stack up against the Nikon 16-35? We will find out at another time. Follow our journey on the Instagram if you'd like. Taylor Jackson and L. Coulter Photo. Unless, of course, I took too long editing this and we're already in Switzerland. Really disappointed that my Kim Kardashian Lumi, the battery has finally died, so I'm going to have to recharge that for the next video. Thanks for watching.